At 38, James had weathered more storms than he'd ever expected. 3 years ago, he lost his wife, Sarah, to cancer. Since then, life had become a balancing act of bills, lunches, and bedtime lullabies. His daughter Lily, only 6, was his reason to keep going. She had her mother's eyes, bright, full of questions, and a laugh that reminded him why he couldn't give up. That afternoon, they drove out to the woods just outside town, like they did most Sundays. James packed sandwiches, a storybook, and Lily's favorite red blanket. Nature was their safe space, no car horns, no flashing screens. Just trees, sky, and the sound of Lily's giggles echoing through the quiet. They had just settled beneath an old oak tree when something caught his eye. A flicker of white in the woods. At first, he thought it was fabric caught on a branch, maybe some careless hiker's trash. But as he stepped closer 20 feet, 30, his breath caught in his throat. It wasn't fabric. It was a woman. She was barefoot, trembling, dressed in a torn wedding gown. Her hands were shackled with iron chains to the thick trunk of a tree. Her veil hung in tatters. Her eyes were bloodshot and hollow, yet still alive. James froze. The woman didn't speak. She just stared, her lips quivering, body shrinking away like she expected him to strike her. He raised both hands. "It's okay," he said gently. "I won't hurt you. I promise." Lily came running up behind him and gasped. "Daddy, she's a princess." James glanced down at his daughter, then back at the woman. "She needs our help." She finally spoke, her voice no more than a whisper. "Please, don't call them." He said if I told anyone, he'd come back. James knelt beside her, ignoring the cold mud soaking his jeans. "You're safe now. Whoever did this to you, he's not here anymore." It took 10 minutes to convince her, and another 5 to coax a name from her lips. Emily Grace, 27. Kindergarten teacher. Kind, quiet, and deeply in love, until love turned into fear. Emily had been engaged for a year. Everyone said her fiancé was charming. Behind closed doors, he was possessive. Then cruel. Then dangerous. The night before their wedding, she confronted him. She told him she couldn't marry a man who controlled her, hurt her, isolated her from friends. He didn't scream. He didn't beg. He laughed. He said if she wouldn't be his bride in front of the world, she'd be his bride in the dark. So he drove her out into the woods, tied her to a tree, left her there. As a joke. As a punishment. As proof that he owned her. James could hardly breathe through the rage he felt. He called 911, gave the location, and wrapped Emily in his jacket. When the police and paramedics arrived, they cut her free and rushed her to the hospital. James held her hand the whole time. Lily refused to let go of her other one. For days, James couldn't shake the image from his mind, her haunted eyes, her bruised wrists, the dirt on her feet. He and Lily visited her at the hospital with soup, flowers, and bedtime stories. Emily didn't speak much at first, but Lily could always make her smile. "You should come live with us," Lily said one afternoon, swinging her legs under the hospital bed. James chuckled. "That's not how life works, sweetie." But Emily's eyes softened. Maybe it should be. Over the next few months, Emily slowly rebuilt her life. She filed charges. Her ex was arrested. The community was outraged when the story broke. Offers of help poured in, but she stayed close to James and Lily. He didn't push. He didn't expect. He just showed up, brought groceries, walked her dog, painted her porch. She watched him love Lily the way no one had ever loved her, with patience, with gentleness, with steadiness. One evening, as they watched fireflies dance across the lawn, Emily whispered, "Do you think broken people can find each other and become whole?" James turned to her. "I don't think you're broken. I think you're the strongest person I've ever met." She kissed him that night, not because he saved her, but because he saw her. 1 year later, in a quiet ceremony under the same oak tree, Emily walked down a path strewn with petals. This time, she wore a wedding dress that fit her like armor. This time, she wasn't chained. This time, she chose. James waited beneath the tree, his eyes wet, Lily at his side holding the rings. The vows were simple. "I will never bind you," James said. "Only walk beside you." Tears ran down Emily's cheeks. "And I will never run away from fear again, because I've learned what love really means."